Will Muschamp won 20 games in Gainesville with the Florida Gators, and a few of those were very pretty as well. Muschamp is 1-0 at South Carolina, but it wasn't pretty with a 13-to win in Nashville against the Vanderbilt Commodores. But South Carolina, hey, they are in first place in the Eastern Division of the SEC, 1-0, 1-0 overall. Elliott Frye got the job done from plus 52 yards with about 2 minutes left in the game. As South Carolina came back from a 10-0 deficit to win it 13-10. So this is what stood out to me. All right, first for South Carolina, Brandon McElwain was the starting quarterback. Hit just 5 of 11 passes, was dismal in the passing game. South Carolina's wide receiver certainly didn't help him out as well. We counted 4 drops through 3 quarters, and a couple against McElwain, just 35 yards passing for South Carolina at that point. Perry Orth came in. It was a different situation. He made some exceptional throws, and Brian Edwards was extremely impressive in this game. 8 catches for 101 yards for South Carolina, and it wasn't just the receptions. It was how he caught the football in traffic, one-on-one situations where he fought the defender for the football, one in particular. So this is a third quarter, 2 minutes left. Edwards made a great catch along the right sideline where he had to twist, make a hands catch out, fight the defender, pinpoint the football. And it actually didn't lead to a score, and South Carolina was down 10-3. What it did was flip the field. South Carolina was pinned inside its own 10-yard line, flipped the field, set up the punt that eventually changed field position and led to the Gamecocks getting the game-tying drive, then the game-winning drive a little bit later. A.J. Turner, success for South Carolina in the ground game, 13 carries for 70 yards against a very formidable Vanderbilt defense led by a number of players, including Zach Cunningham, who was impressive in this game, all-SEC performer last season, 4.5 sacks for him in 2015. South Carolina dismal on offense. Even when Orth took over, he missed many of his early passes, but finished 11 of 19 for a $152, and he hit the throws that really South Carolina needs in the passing game downfield. He presented the downfield threat that opened up the running game. Deebo Samuel on the fly sweep after Orth hit some big passes downfield. It was much a passing drive that led to the game-tying score, but Deebo took it on a jet sweep for the game-tying score at 10-10. That was with about 8 minutes left in the game because Vandy really dominated the line of scrimmage early on the offensive side, and Ralph Webb did his thing. We all know about Webb. He carried it 20 times in this game for 97 yards, one of the SEC's top backs behind those elite guys of Chubb and Fournette and the like. But also in this game, Kari Blasingame had a breakout game. Didn't carry the football last year. Comes into this game, starts to get some carries in relief of Webb. Webb a little bit more slender, a little bit more explosive, a little shiftier, has a shake in his game. Blasingame blasted away at South Carolina's defense, and he was really impressive. This kid loves contact, and he muscled his way. I was shocked when I looked at his numbers after the game at 15 carries for 68 yards. Seemed like every time he touched the football, he went for 7 or 8 yards. He did score for Vandy, the lone touchdown of the game. Remember that name, Kari Blasingame for Vandy in relief of Ralph Webb, who did have 97 yards himself. South Carolina has now won 8 consecutive games against Vandy in the series. This is a big win for Will Muschamp. You think big wins, you don't think over Vandy, but on the road, SEC opener, and we talked about it a number of times on SEC Breakdown and here on Mark Rogers TV, that it's definitely a split in the Eastern Division, despite what we saw out of Tennessee tonight. It's Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida, clearly the 3 best, and it's a huge chasm after that. And then it's Kentucky, Vandy, Mizzou, South Carolina. So whoever wins the games between those 4 teams have a chance to represent the SEC in bowl play and get those magical 6 wins. And South Carolina takes a meaningful step in that direction with a win over Vandy, 13-10. Need to hear from you now on Mark Rogers TV and SEC Breakdown.